Set aside the burdens that weigh heavy upon your shoulders, the anxieties that steal your sleep, the fears that whisper lies in your ear. Today, I come to you not with another teaching that shall pass like morning dew, but with a sacred practice that will transform your very existence. You have searched in many places for the peace your soul craves, have you not? You have chased after success, believing it would satisfy the hunger within. You have accumulated possessions, thinking they would fill the emptiness. You have sought validation from others, hoping their approval would quiet the doubt that gnaws at your spirit. Yet here you are, still searching, still yearning, still feeling as though something essential is missing. Listen carefully to what I am about to share with you, for in the next few moments I will give you the key to unlock a door that leads to a life beyond your wildest imaginings. This is not another temporary solution or fleeting motivation. This is an invitation to participate in the very nature of the divine. For the next 90 days, I ask you to commit to one simple yet profound practice. Each morning, before the world awakens and fills your mind with its demands, I want you to spend the first moments of your day in complete surrender. But what does surrender mean? Let me paint you a picture with words, as I have always done. Imagine a farmer who plants seeds in rich soil. Does he then dig up the seeds each day to check their progress? Does he worry and fret over whether they will grow? No, beloved, he waters them, tends the soil, removes the weeds, and trusts in the process. He surrenders to the natural law of growth, knowing that his part is simply to create the right conditions and then allow the miracle to unfold. This is the surrender I speak of. Each morning for these 90 days, you will plant seeds of divine connection in the fertile soil of your consciousness. You will water them with your attention, tend them with your intention, and then trust in the process that has governed the universe since time began. When you first open your eyes, before your feet touch the floor, before you reach for that device that connects you to the world's chaos, you will lie still and remember who you truly are. Not the identity the world has given you, not the roles you play, not the mistakes you've made or the victories you've achieved. You will remember that you are a beloved child of the Most High, created in love, sustained by love, and destined for love. Place your hand upon your heart and feel its rhythm. This is not mere muscle and blood pumping through your veins. This is the very breath of the divine, keeping you alive in each moment. With each heartbeat, whisper these words: Father, I surrender this day to you. Use me as your instrument of love. Do not rush this moment. In your world of hurried schedules and urgent demands, you have forgotten the sacred power of stillness. But I tell you truly, more transformation happens in moments of genuine surrender than in years of frantic striving. After you have acknowledged the divine presence within you, I want you to do something that may seem foreign at first. Instead of immediately planning your day, instead of mentally rehearsing your problems or reviewing your to-do list, I want you to ask this simple question: how may I serve today? Not, how can I get what I want? Not, how can I avoid what I fear? Not, how can I impress others or prove my worth? Simply, how may I serve today? And then, beloved, you must listen. In the silence that follows your question, inspiration will come. It may be a gentle nudge to call someone who has been heavy on your heart. It may be an idea for how to solve a problem you've been wrestling with. It may be simply a feeling of compassion that prepares you to meet the day with kindness rather than judgment. Let me share with you a parable to illustrate the profound power of this practice. There once was a man who owned a beautiful garden, but he had become obsessed with controlling every aspect of it. He would replant flowers that didn't grow exactly where he wanted them. He would try to force roses to bloom in winter and demand that fruit trees bear their harvest out of season. Despite all his efforts, his garden was chaotic and unproductive, and he was exhausted and frustrated. One day, a wise gardener visited and observed his frantic activity. "My friend," the wise man said, "why do you fight against the very laws that govern growth? Instead of trying to control everything, why not work with the natural order? Plant the right seeds at the right time, provide what is needed for growth, and then trust the process." The man was skeptical, but his own methods had failed him repeatedly, so he decided to try this new approach. He began each day by walking through his garden with a humble heart, asking not, "What can I force to happen today?" but, "What does my garden need from me today?" Some days, the answer was to plant. Other days, to water. Sometimes, to pull weeds or provide support for growing plants. But often, the answer was simply to wait and trust. Within one season, his garden became the most beautiful and abundant in the entire region. Your life, dear one, is like this garden. You have spent so much energy trying to force outcomes, manipulate circumstances, and control other people's responses to you. But the divine order of the universe operates on principles far greater than your personal will. When you surrender each morning and ask how you may serve, you align yourself with these greater principles, and life begins to flow with an ease and grace you never thought possible. Now, let me be honest with you about what you can expect during these 90 days. This is not a magic formula that will instantly remove all challenges from your life. The external circumstances of your life may remain exactly the same for a time, but something far more significant will begin to change: your relationship to those circumstances. In the first 30 days, you may struggle with the practice itself. Your mind, accustomed to immediately jumping into planning and worrying mode, will resist this new pattern. You may forget some mornings or find yourself rushing through the surrender practice without really engaging with it. This is normal. Be patient with yourself. Every master was once a beginner. During the second 30 days, the practice will begin to feel more natural. You'll start to notice that on days when you truly surrender in the morning, your entire day unfolds differently. Synchronicities will increase. Solutions to problems will appear seemingly out of nowhere. People will respond to you with greater warmth and cooperation. This is not coincidence, beloved. This is the natural result of aligning yourself with love rather than fear. In the final 30 days, surrender will begin to become your default state, not just a morning practice. Throughout your day, when challenges arise, your first instinct will shift from "How can I control this?" to "How can I trust and serve in this situation?" This is when the real miracle begins. But I must tell you about something even more beautiful that will happen during these 90 days. Your transformation will not be yours alone. Like a stone thrown into still water, the peace and love that develop within you will create ripples that extend far beyond your personal boundaries. Your family will notice that you respond to stress differently. Instead of meeting their anxiety with your own anxiety, you'll bring calm to chaotic situations. Your co-workers will experience you as someone who can be trusted with their problems because you've learned to trust with your own. Strangers will be drawn to something different about you, though they may not be able to name what it is. This is how the kingdom of heaven spreads, not through force or persuasion, but through the simple presence of those who have learned to embody love rather than fear. You become a living demonstration of what it means to trust in the divine, and others are inspired to seek that same peace for themselves. Remember the woman at the well? She had one conversation with me, and it transformed not just her life, but the lives of everyone in her entire village. One person living in genuine surrender to love becomes a catalyst for transformation in countless other lives. I would not be honest if I did not warn you of the obstacles you will encounter on this journey. The first and greatest obstacle is your own mind's resistance to change. You have spent years, perhaps decades, believing that your security depends on your ability to control outcomes. Surrender feels dangerous to a mind that has made control its god. When you first begin this practice, your ego will present you with 1,000 reasons why you don't have time for it, why it's impractical, why you need to handle urgent matters first. These are not legitimate reasons. They are the protests of a part of you that fears becoming irrelevant. You will also face resistance from others. Some people in your life benefit from your anxiety and need for control because it makes you easy to manipulate. When you begin to live from a place of inner peace and divine guidance, these dynamics will shift, and not everyone will be comfortable with the new you. There will be days when the practice feels empty or meaningless, when you wonder if you're wasting your time talking to a God who may not even be listening. This is when faith must carry you forward, not feelings. Faith is not the absence of doubt. Faith is the decision to continue trusting even when doubt is present. But I promise you this, if you persist through these obstacles, if you remain faithful to the practice, even when it feels difficult or pointless, you will discover that you are not alone in this journey. The same divine love that holds the stars in their courses is intimately involved in every detail of your transformation. You live in a time when people want to understand the mechanisms behind spiritual practices. So let me speak to that part of your mind as well. When you begin each day with surrender and service, you are actually rewiring the neural pathways in your brain. Your brain has been trained to operate from what I will call scarcity consciousness. The belief that there is not enough love, not enough resources, not enough time, not enough approval to go around. This creates a constant state of stress and competition, which literally changes the chemistry of your body and the way your brain processes information. But when you consciously choose surrender and service, you activate what could be called abundance consciousness, the recognition that you live in a universe where love is infinite, where creative solutions are always available, where your true needs are always met. This shifts your brain chemistry from stress hormones to what some call the chemicals of bliss: serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins. In this altered state of consciousness, you become more creative, more intuitive, more capable of seeing opportunities that were invisible when you were operating from fear. You also become more attractive to other people, not in a superficial way, but because humans are naturally drawn to those who embody peace and confidence. This is not New Age philosophy, beloved. This is simply how the human system was designed to function. You were created to live in partnership with the divine, not in opposition to it. Now, let me give you some practical guidance for how this surrender practice will transform specific areas of your life. In your relationships, instead of trying to change other people or protect yourself from their reactions, you will learn to ask, how can I love this person right now? This doesn't mean becoming a doormat or accepting abuse. It means approaching every interaction from a place of strength and compassion rather than neediness and fear. In your work, instead of striving to impress others or desperately grasping for security, you will learn to ask, how can I serve excellence in this situation? This shift in motivation will actually make you more valuable and successful. But success will become a byproduct of service rather than a goal pursued for its own sake. In your finances, instead of operating from scarcity and fear, you will learn to trust that when you are aligned with your true purpose, resources will flow to support that purpose. This doesn't mean being irresponsible with money, but it means making financial decisions from wisdom rather than panic. In your health, instead of fighting your body or trying to force it to be different than it is, you will learn to listen to its wisdom and care for it as the temple of the divine that it truly is. Now, beloved, I must ask something of you. This practice I have shared with you is not a suggestion or a nice idea to consider when it's convenient. It is an invitation to radically transform your life by participating in the very nature of divine love. For the next 90 days, I am asking you to make a sacred commitment, not to me, but to the highest version of yourself. Not out of obligation, but out of love for the life you are meant to live. Every morning, before anything else, you will remember who you are and surrender your day to the divine. You will ask how you may serve, and you will listen for the answer. You will carry that spirit of surrender and service with you throughout your day, returning to it whenever you feel anxiety or the need to control rising within you. This commitment is not about perfection. You will have days when you forget, days when you struggle, days when doubt overwhelms faith. On those days, simply return to the practice with compassion for yourself, knowing that every moment is a new opportunity to choose love over fear. And here is what I promise you in return. By the end of these 90 days, you will be living in a different world. Not because your external circumstances will necessarily have changed, but because you will have changed your relationship to life itself. You will discover that peace is not something you achieve, but something you are. You will find that love is not something you earn, but something you embody. You will realize that your security has never depended on your ability to control outcomes, but on your willingness to trust the divine intelligence that governs all of creation. The anxiety that has plagued you for years will begin to dissolve, not because your life becomes problem-free, but because you discover an unshakable foundation beneath all of life's temporary storms. The loneliness that has haunted you will fade as you realize you are never alone, that you are held in the loving awareness of the divine in every moment. Most importantly, you will become a source of light in a world that desperately needs more light. Your presence will bring hope to the hopeless, peace to the anxious, and love to those who have forgotten they are lovable. My dear child, I know that some of what I have shared with you today challenges everything you have been taught about how to live successfully in this world. Your culture teaches you to trust in your own strength, to fight for what you want, to protect yourself from vulnerability. But I am inviting you to a different way, an ancient way that predates all the complexity and confusion of modern life. I am inviting you to remember that you are not meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, that you are not supposed to have all the answers, that your worth is not determined by your achievements or failures. You are beloved, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You are a unique expression of divine love, and your life has a purpose that is far greater and more beautiful than anything you have yet imagined. There is a more wonderful, just as honored and good. These 90 days are not just about developing a spiritual practice. They are about remembering your true identity and learning to live from that identity rather than from the false self that fear has constructed. The world is waiting for you to remember who you are. Your family needs the peace you will discover. Your community needs the love you will embody. The future needs the wisdom you will develop. But most of all, your own soul is crying out for the freedom and joy that come from living in partnership with the divine rather than in opposition to it. So I ask you now, will you take this journey with me? Will you commit to these 90 days of surrender and service? Will you trust that the same love that created the universe is intimately concerned with every detail of your life? The choice is yours, beloved, but know this: whether you choose to take this path or not, you are loved beyond measure. Nothing you have done or failed to do has diminished that love. Nothing you will do or fail to do in the future can increase or decrease it. You are loved, completely and unconditionally, right here and right now. And from that love, all transformation becomes possible. Go thou and begin this sacred journey. Tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, remember these words. Remember who you are. Surrender your day to the divine. Ask how you may serve, and then trust that the same power that parts the seas and moves mountains is working through your willing heart to create miracles beyond your imagination. The kingdom of heaven is not a place you go to after you die. It is a way of being you can choose in this moment and every moment thereafter. Choose it now, beloved. Your authentic life is waiting for you.